Mexican tap water, Hillary Clinton's email server, and sharing a toothbrush with Charlie Sheen are all things I trust more than anyone who hasn't liked and subscribed to Not These Two Fucking Guys podcast. I'm Rock.
And I'm Archie.
Well, our opinions, they might not matter to some, but...
What are you doing in there?
It's a podcast.
Immature, crass, trashy. And those are their good qualities. These poor schmucks are a couple of IQ points away from eating paste. But when it comes to music, sports, and comedy, well, that's all they know. You're listening to
Not These Two Fucking Guys.
Not These Two Fucking Guys podcast.
Ooh, this next interview, my friends, was so dope. Yo, she did not hold back anything. It was emotional. It was fun. It was happy. It was gratifying on our end to have her on our podcast. Let me just tell you, you are in for a treat. You're in for a ride. Behind the scenes shit. I can't wait for you guys to hear this. No intro this week. We're just going straight for it. Check it out. Here we go. Yo, Rock.
What's up, pal?
Oh, man, when you texted me last week and you told me that this next guest was going to be on our show, not only was it an infected rain-a-thon at my gym all week, but I learned that the next time, Rock, that we're on stage together and you scream into a mic, before you get on stage, put on a song called Mold. Not only can this front woman sing her ass off, she's badass, she's brutal, and she's beautiful. Miss Lena Scissorhands.
Hey, guys.
Hey, Lena, how are you?
I'm good. Thank you for having me.
Thanks for coming on. We appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Thank you. And thank you for this introduction.
Listen, it's always a nice little introduction, New Jersey style.
New Jersey style, yay.
Have you ever been?
No, not yet. Not even to just visit. No.
Okay. How about New York? Have you played in New York?
No, we never played in America.
Oh my God.
All right. So you're not informed enough. Basically, 2020 was supposed to be the year. We had 2 North American tours, spring and autumn. Okay. With other bands that we had to reschedule, hopefully for next year. But this was supposed to be the year, yes. Yeah. I do, however, travel a lot for other reasons. I'm also a alternative model, and I normally, when the world is not upside down, normally you can find me at tattoo conventions or comic conventions, comic books conventions or stuff like that. And I love traveling. So I've been to upstate New York, and I've been to New York City, of course. I've been to Massachusetts and that area right there as well.
Well, that's good. Well, hopefully we'll get to see you soon in our area.
Fingers crossed. Yeah, I know. It was supposed to be in our tour list for sure.
Yeah. I think soon. I have that feeling. There's a club in New Jersey. Like, there's not that many rock clubs in New Jersey. It sucks because it's just the way it is nowadays. Used to be. Yeah. But there's a club in New Jersey that over the weekend just had a show, but it's like limited people. Like, hey, I want my fans to come. Only a select few.
Yeah.
I don't want a lot.
Yeah.
But I think it should be coming back hopefully soon.
Hopefully, I see certain countries and certain states try to come up with a solution. Mm-hmm. But for now, unfortunately, where I come from, the news are not super good. So I'm hesitant even to go and just, spend time with my band because things are like just changing every day. So for now, I'm holding back.
Gotcha.
Trying to do as much as I can remotely for now.
Mm-hmm. So talk about where you come from. Is it pronounced Moldova?
Correct. Actually, thank you. You're probably one of the few that pronounced it correctly. It is Moldova, and it's a very small country. We are between Romania and Ukraine.
Okay.
And we used to be a USSR country, so we speak two languages in our country. They are not both legally written in constitution or anything, but yes, we speak Russian and Romanian.
Wow.
And we speak Romanian because Moldova actually used to be part of Romania long ago. And then with wars and history, it became its own country, very small one. But we speak two languages. We are very small, very poor, and nobody knows about us. But we are trying to spread the word, and we have a lot of talented people that make it out there. But in order to do so, they have to unfortunately move out from the country. And when I say that, I mean in every possible genre or area of art, being an artist, like there are tattoo artists that are worldwide known, and people don't even know where they come from, but they are actually from my country. They become so big. There are special effects nerds that work on amazing super famous movies that nobody knows about. Yeah.
Wow.
And we are trying to do so as well. We are the first band from my country that got signed with a label.
That's fantastic. Now,
We're trying.
you're currently living in the U.S.?
Correct. It's been 5 years since I've moved to the U.S. and I live in Las Vegas.
Vegas. Yeah.
That's a place to move to if you move to the U.S. for sure.
Yes, for so many reasons, A lot of people think it's a constant party here, but even when we didn't have the world, pandemic and situation, actually, people that live here, they actually are having a really calm life and lifestyle.
Living off the strip.
Exactly.
You gotta live off the strip.
We do go there to visit once in a while to bring our friends and family that visit. But the majority of people that live here, unless their job is connected to the party lifestyle, they are not really, I have a pretty remote location where I live, and it's pretty calm here, and I love it. I would never, change it. And the prices for living here, because of how hot it is, they are way lower than even our neighbor California, So
I do follow. Sorry to cut you off. I do follow.
That was it. Yeah.
Okay. I do follow Heidi from the Butcher Babies.
Yeah, they just moved here. We're
roommates.
friends.
Well, not roommates, but don't they live right next door to you?
They literally live. So it's the same neighborhood, but it's a few streets away.
Okay.
And accidentally, she didn't really know in detail where I live. We used to stay in touch, and we actually even talked about it when they were only planning to move here.
Okay.
In the beginning of the year, and then I knew that is happening, but because of the COVID bullshit, they were hesitant. They didn't know because they lived all their life there, and they love it there,
Yeah.
But we accidentally ended up being neighbors.
Not a bad neighbor.
Absolutely. I love her so much, and Henry, and they are the only two band members that I know in person.
Okay.
But everything else I hear or see about the band is fantastic. So.
Gotcha. I'm not big on asking somebody, hey, what's your favorite band? You've been asked that shit a million times. Come on.
So many times.
Yeah, enough with that. Rocco and I like to know more about the artist. So there's a reason why we have you on. So I might be jumping ahead, but just these are so powerful. When I see and read and try to ingest lyrics like Dear Daddy, I'm coming home. I know you don't remember me, but I used to be your doll. Stuff like that. That's some heavy shit.
It is.
So I want to know more about you as a person, as far as where do these lyrics come from? Where are they coming from?
Yes. Thank you for asking this. I do mention whenever I have the chance, but I do mention that all my lyrics are based on my life experience, either from the past or from the present. Some type of frustration or some type of, I don't know, just sharing my ideas about certain matter even. Yeah. But yes, the majority, of course, is influenced by my past. And it's not a big secret. I embraced it and I talk about it. I know a lot of people had difficult upbringing and maybe family issues or other sorts of issues growing up. Yeah. I did too. I was not I was not special. So, and I decided in order to just deal with what happened to me or what influenced me becoming who I am, mm-hmm. I have to learn to talk about it. I have to face it as many times as I can. And there's no better way to face it than through your music, because over and over again on the stage, when I sing that song, I relive those situations. And I do feel very vulnerable and in a way even fragile when I do so, because it's literally opening up like a book for people to read. And but this is my choice, and I'm very happy I did so. It has its ups and downs, but I feel in the long run it has more positive impact than negative. So for me, it works like a therapy. Yeah. And whatever I talk about, either it is stuff from the childhood or stuff just from the closer past, it still works like a therapy, and it heals you little by little every time when singing it.
You know, hearing you say all this, it seems like almost the audience is almost your shrink in a way. Yes,
and it is like
you're telling us your life and your problems.
Yes.
And in reciprocation, we're coming back at you and we're helping you. We're listening to you every show. And
absolutely. And I'm so grateful for that. In fact, as soon as I stepped on the stage in 2008 was our very first show, I knew that this is what I was missing. Yeah. And it doesn't matter how many friends you have, to how many people you told your story, or even if you have a therapist actually, and you did talk about your problems or issues from the past, it's still not the same. So I knew this is so addicting, and I needed that in order to feel free. And that's why I'm holding so tight to the stage and to the band and to all this. So I'm not going to give up. You guys are all screwed. I'm here to stay.
I can totally relate to that. As you know, again, Archie and I are in a band. I sing, and you write stuff, and it's cool to write it and create something, but to be able to perform it in front of a live audience and actually like think about the lyrics that you're saying and what they mean and why you wrote them in the first place. It's not just because you wanted to write a song, it's because you were trying to get something out. So I can totally relate to that.
And it's so unique too, because I actually started writing when I was 14, and I wrote in other languages. The first one was Russian. I was writing in Russian with my dear friend that was like my best friend as a teenager, and then we still are best friends. And we would both just write poems or ideas down, and we were the only one to read it. Nobody else read them, right? And then later on, I did languages in university, and I discovered that I feel very confident and comfortable writing in English and in Italian. I have a few little pieces in Italian as well, because I did my university in Italy.
Nice. That's awesome.
Yeah, my whole family lives there actually.
That's a bucket list for us. One day we'll make it there.
Sure. Yeah, for sure. You definitely should. And so I started writing way before I was in a band. So that was such a big difference for me. Already writing it down, it's amazing. So I always tell my fans and supporters of the band, I tell them, if you ever feel like you are lost, write it down. It doesn't matter in what form.
Yeah.
It can be just a story or a poem. Even if you want to just illustrate something, what bugs you or what creates that pain in your chest, put it down, because it really is helpful. And then that being on the stage and actually sharing that with a big audience, that's a different step completely. So yes, I totally agree with you. It's amazing to write, but it's so much even better to actually sing about it, because when you find the right people that can garnish your lyrics with the melody, and together they create this more powerful thing. It's not only about the words anymore, it's about the sound. So it creates this feeling. I'm saying this and I'm having goosebumps right now.
Yeah.
It really is. Damn, I miss the stage so much. It's just every time on the stage, especially if you can even hear your audience singing out loud the words with you, and even crying in front of you, or you crying in front of them. It happened multiple times, and I'm not ashamed of that, you know?
I'll tell you what, you're obviously at a different level than we are, because we're like hometown heroes, we'll call that. So when all three of our fans are belting out our lyrics, but no, that has to be moving. Such a satisfaction.
It is.
You know,
it is for sure.
So talk more about your writing process. Like I know, you know, I speak for myself. Like I never sit down and say, okay, I'm going to write a song today, and I start beginning to end. You know, I write down, like you said, I write down thoughts, I write down themes, I write down little anecdotes, and then I'll come back to them and I'll say, like, you know, oh, this fits with this theme, and this is what I want to kind of say. So I was just interested to see how what you do.
Of course. And it's very similar. My process is very similar. Just since I was in the university, way before the band, I just got into this habit to writing ideas down and writing little phrases here and there that I either read in books or hear in movies, just because they touch me. I write them down, and then later on, they inspire me to develop that into an idea of a song or something like similar like that. So since then, I either have, I do love my notebook, and I actually have a pen, and I like to actually write it down, the process of writing it. But I do, however, have in my notes ideas that I write down when I'm not close to my notebook, like somewhere on the road, in the tour bus, or like even running errands, and I just got a revelation or something, or I saw something pissing me off, and I'm like, I'm gonna fucking making lyrics about this, so I'll talk about this, you know? So yes, I put all the ideas down, no matter what. Sometimes ideas, they get created right away into either a little poem with just like 4 little phrases, or just sometimes they don't even rhyme. Sometimes they rhyme right away. Sometimes even when I have that idea, I sometimes have an idea of melody, how I'm going to scream it or how I'm going to sing it. So in order not to forget that, because I'm not putting it right away on the music, I have a voice recorder on a phone, and I put ideas down. So, and I remember to name it. It's very important, because then you just forget about them. So that's what I do.
That's very true.
In my everyday life. But sometimes I get inspired, and I do sit down on purpose to write. And very rare, just like you say, very rare they become full poems right away or full lyrics right away. What I mean is, sometimes you just write the idea down and you develop it into lyrics, and you will come back and you will either add or remove certain parts.
Sure.
So like I have so many that are not finished, like so many. It's a whole like notebook full of unfinished, some almost done, some half done, some just like started ideas put down. So I just go back and forth between them. Some have similar ideas, so sometimes I put them together. It depends. But it's easier for me when for example, right now, Infected Rain is actually recording a new album. And this is how it works. And for the first time, I'm far away from the band during the writing process. So the way it works is they send me their almost done songs. When I say almost done, it means almost done, like literally almost done. So they're not going to change anything drastically, because when I work on the melody or ideas for the vocals, and I choose which lyrics go where, I kind of have to know the feeling that song delivers.
Sure.
So that's how I work when it comes to like applying the lyrics to the music. But in order to stay and not wander off the topic, I would say that, it's very similar to what you say. The only thing is, I got into this habit, and I also suggest everybody who is writing, especially, to do so, because I try my best to be a very aware person, and I'm working on that for years now. I just understand that we all sleepwalking in a way or another. We just get used to our routine and just do the same thing over and over again. And that's what I mean, sleepwalking, obviously, in a metaphoric way. But so I'm trying to be very aware whenever I do anything, even if it is a very basic sitting down and watching a movie. So for me, sometimes I need to like go back and what did he say? Or what did she say? Like it touches me. And things like that automatically go down on my notebook. Like I write things down because I'm like, this is genius. I thought about it 1,000 times and they said it out loud finally. You know what I mean? Or vice versa. I never thought about it. This is amazing. And I write it down. So this doesn't mean that I steal ideas. Obviously not, but there are things that inspire me. I'm a human being, and there are things that I can relate to. So they inspire me. I'm like, yes, I've been wanting to write about this, or I've been wanting to say this out loud for so long, you know? So this is how it works. We all inspire each other in a way or another. And not only words, sometimes visuals inspire me too. So that's pretty much how I write.
Yeah, so it's funny that you say that, how like, because we'll do that too, and me and Archie will bust each other's chops. I'll send him a melody on voice recorder, and it's just me gibberish. I'm not saying words. I'm just singing a melody, and he's like, "Oh, he's like, that's cool." He's like, "It was cool the first time when Pantera did it." He's like, so it's like, I think you subconsciously like almost like take from what your inspirations are, but I totally relate to what you're saying as far as like writing stuff down and understanding stuff. And it's not, I don't believe it's not, you're not taking from someone. You're actually like getting themes and ideas and maybe emulating them and making them different. So.
Absolutely. And that's another reason why also I want to encourage people to get back into reading. People don't read anymore. And it doesn't necessarily have to be a book. It can be an electronic book if you don't want to have books, or it can be just listen to it. Nowadays there are audiobooks. It will just for the hell of getting your vocabulary bigger. You know, like it happens to me multiple times actually, and I am not even from here, that I write about something and I will like share it with like friends, and they will be like, "What does this word even mean?" And they are Americans. And I don't mean to say that I know more words than them, but through reading or like trying to reading or even movies, you discover fun words. And that's another thing I do as a writer. Whenever I discover a word that I'm like, this is a great word, I never knew about it, I write it down. In fact, that being said, that's a cool story, because this is how we came out with the idea for the album name 86.
Okay.
So I never knew what being 86th mean. And when I discovered that the number had a meaning. And then if you actually do your research, it gives you different sources. Different sources gives you different reasons where it actually came from. But I was born in 86. So the connection between the number and having that meaning, which was so appropriate for the theme of the album, it was perfect. And then we created this artwork of this like alien creature being 86 from the like on the way to heaven from on those stairs. It's falling down. It's not accepted. It's like rejected. Rejected. It was so amazing. And this is exactly how I discover words. I write them down and I'm like, oh my God, I can't believe this.
So you said you speak Russian, Romanian. When did you start speaking English? Let me ask you that.
So yes, I speak 4 languages actually, all on the same level.
That's it? Oh, only 4, huh? Okay.
Archie's still trying to get his grasp on his first
I'm still trying to get English, but okay, thank you.
They are all pretty much on the same level for me. So Romanian and Russian, I speak since I was a baby because of my country and my family. Actually, my dad is from a different country. My dad is Armenian. I used to speak Armenian perfectly too, but I forgot. Because I left Armenia when I was 13 and I didn't have anybody to practice with. So I do understand a few words, a few phrases even. I can even respond here and there, but that's it. And then my whole family moved to Italy, so I speak Italian perfectly. Perfectly, I guess nobody speaks a language perfectly, even people that live there. I speak it well.
Yeah.
I did my last year of high school there and 3 years of university.
You're not going to starve there.
Yeah, for sure.
You're okay. You can get around.
Yeah. So I do know Italian very good also because all my family still lives there and they feel more comfortable speaking Italian now because it's been more than 17 years since they moved there. So I speak with them Italian. Now English, I started learning in school. It was like an extra language for us. Then I continued in school and I always loved music and movies. So I would try my best to translate them and improve my language as much as I could by myself. And then when I finished high school, I was already working as a hair and makeup artist. So I had a pretty established job that I loved. But for some reason, everybody around me too insisted for me to try and be a student and like a university student, college or whatever you guys call it here. And I decided, you know what, I can probably do both and still keep my job and work part-time. So I did, and I chose languages and literature. Anyways, books. I chose books.
I like to read books.
Yeah, so that's what I did. So I learned American English actually because in the university in Rome, you could actually choose English from the UK or English from USA. And depending on what you choose, you learn the history of that country and the grammar of that country. So I chose American English. Actually, my choice was made because of how amazing the teacher was. I didn't know, and I was like, you know what, I'll go and I'll have a lesson with both, and I'll choose depending on the teacher. And just the teacher, Sarah, she was so amazing. I loved it right away. So that's why I chose English from the USA.
Well, you speak it very well.
Thank you. Well, that's mainly because I live here already and I practice a lot. But yes, I did. I studied languages and I also studied Spanish. So I understand a little bit of Spanish as well.
Jeez, she could help us out in Jersey. That's for sure.
Now you're just showing off.
Yeah.
No, I'm just showing off. I wish I knew actually. I wish I
Korean?
had enough time to.
Right.
No, just Spanish, but better.
Yeah, okay.
Because a lot of people speak Spanish. So I wish I knew Spanish better, but no.
So I have to say this. I wasn't lying when I did the intro. Like I went through your discography all week and loved it.
Nice.
And I realized, just like I'm sure you do, how the band grew. I went per album. I started at your EP,
Nice.
And I kept going. I'm like, all right, so I'm going to take this on day by day. And it was like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. I was like, all right, Asylum, Embrace Eternity, 86. Friday came. It was like endorphin. Here we go.
Here we go.
So my question is, in a musician's life, making an album is almost like having it. That's my child. Those are my babies.
Absolutely,
those are my songs.
Absolutely.
There's always like a period in time you're going to remember, oh, that happened during Asylum. I remember that.
Yeah.
Oh, out of your whole discography, what can you remember from your albums that appeared in time in your life that was either good or bad or anything?
So much happened actually. So when we were just getting together and having the bandmates that in the beginning, like the guitar player, bass player, and drummer, these three in the beginning changed. Mm-hmm. It was me, the guitar player Vidic with the one with dreadlocks, and we used to have a DJ, and we were the ones that made the band.
Gotcha.
That created the band, and then they knew a lot of musicians, and they tried musicians here and there. With a few of them, we had to part just because they were not our people. Yep. Our people. And then with the other ones, they right away said, you guys, we will help you out for a show or two, or even like 4, but we have our own bands. We don't want to, get serious with another band. So it was a difficult, it was pretty difficult because Moldova is very small and we do have talented people, but they normally, like the good ones, they play in multiple bands because like they're the only ones that are good, like for example, for instance, we have amazing drummers, but to find a drummer that can play with 2 pedals, it's very difficult. The double pedal. Mm-hmm. It's really difficult. So anyways, that's a long story, but to make it shorter, when we were recording the EP, we were still not as established. But then when we finally were ready to record a whole album, the band was more like a family already. Although after the recording of that album and after shooting 2 music videos, we had to say goodbye to our drummer because he moved to a different country. He just changed his lifestyle. He lives in Canada. And that's when our last member of the band, Eugene, which is our current drummer, joined. But in order for that album to happen, we had to work very hard. I worked at 3 jobs in order to have enough money because at the time, the band couldn't have a fee for playing shows and the band was not known. So nobody would actually invest in the band or we didn't even have merchandise. It was just the beginning,
Gotcha.
So we had to invest in order to move, further. So yes, I remember that time we found a recording studio and everything was awesome, but the prices were so high. And Moldova has very low salaries. Although the lifestyle, the costs of the living are pretty expensive, but the salaries are super low. In fact, it's very difficult to survive because of that. So I was, as I mentioned before, I was working as a hair and makeup artist for a long time, since I was 16, and I loved my job. I was doing great. I had a good income, but that was not enough. Yeah. And I started bartending and I started even dancing. It was I had 2 night jobs and 1 day job. Wow. My boys were working as well. It was just a temporary remedy to have an income that would be good enough to record this album. And then we finally did. And that's what I remember with Asylum, hard working. It was so much work that we didn't even have time to rehearse, in fact. Okay. And then finally we had time and enough money to record it. And then next is we need to give people music videos, and to film music videos is also expensive. And so we learned little by little to do things by ourselves. In fact, like a lot of decoration, a lot of the majority of my looks and everything was created by me.
Yeah.
And my boys do a lot of special effects, and they edit all the behind the scene, and we learned to do things by ourselves because it was difficult to find the right people that even for money are going to do a great job.
Mm-hmm.
And on top of it, it was difficult to even have enough sources and, to like give good material, because
Gotcha.
we all loved music and we all followed different bands, and we saw what is out there, and we knew that we need to give good product if we want to be seen. So, that was very difficult. And then between Asylum and Embrace Eternity, it was the touring era. The first hard touring, like super hard.
Okay.
We used to pay insane amount of money to like bus drivers and rent cars and rent buses, rent equipment even to go and play for free almost.
Yep.
Like people wouldn't even cover our gas expenses, which look, we understood that this is how everybody starts. If you want to show
the dues.
So we were playing in Ukraine a lot because we don't need a visa to go to Ukraine. But then we started playing in Romania and Hungary and Bulgaria. But we needed visa to go there. So that is when everything started to be more complicated. We don't need a visa anymore, but that changed way after. Like in the beginning, like a solid 4 years of going to embassies and being like, aren't you guys tired to see us anymore? Like, can you give us a visa for a year at least? We are artists. We are representing this country in other countries. We are coming back, obviously. We all have jobs still. We are not trying to escape the country. It's understandable why they would be so skeptical, because as I mentioned before, Moldova is a poor country, and in order to survive or in order to get your art out there, a lot of people had to move in a way or another. So that's why they were trying to avoid that. So it's a long story. But then Embrace Eternity is already a different era, because we had this is the first album we did with our like current drummer.
Mm-hmm.
And we learned a lot from him too. He's a little bit older and he's been in bands forever. And I feel like our music changed a lot because of that too, because we like already were on our way on growing as musicians. And although we didn't tour a lot, but that was our first like touring era. So it was the first album where I started introducing my own ideas as a vocalist, because I never been in bands before and I never studied music. Mm-hmm. So Asylum, vocal ideas for Asylum are fully my bandmates' ideas. Okay. And I'm not ashamed to say that. Yeah. I learned from them, but in the beginning it was like, okay, tell me what to do and I'll do it.
Gotcha.
It was my lyrics, but I was fully under the control, in a good way, under the guidance, let's say, is a better word,
Gotcha.
Under the guidance of my bandmates. They would like teach me and say, here, I feel like we should do like a more brutal type of vocalizing here. Maybe you should sing. Let's see if you can do these notes or those notes. So basically it was fully them. With Embrace Eternity, we worked together. In fact, they gave me more freedom and they loved it. And I started introducing newer techniques as a vocalist. That's when I met my vocal teacher, Melissa Cross, and my vocals started being a little bit more diverse. And then later on, obviously, we started touring way more to Europe. And with 86, the vocals are fully mine, and my boys gave me full freedom. Obviously, I still ask their opinion and I still listen to them, because they are the ones to create the music, and they maybe sometimes have one type of feeling, and they're like, what if we scream here instead? And then I'll come up with the idea or with the rhythm of how like I'm gonna do it. And so they started trusting me fully with that, which is great. And I feel like I discovered my inner musician at the best level with 86, and moving on later with Endorphin as well. And so basically every album is a bigger step. Every album had a lot of music videos that supported that album, that presented that album to the people. Every album had a lot of touring. Besides Endorphin, we only toured one tour with Endorphin, unfortunately, because of the world situation.
Of course, yep.
But still, we played on big festivals. We got to meet amazing musicians, and a lot of people tried to manage us and sign us, and we only signed in the beginning of 2019 while working on Endorphin. We signed with Napalm Records,
Napalm,
which is
right? Yep.
Yes, which is a label that actually discovered us like 5 years ago or more, and they were the first ones to actually give us an offer. But we were just not ready. And then in the long run, they just stayed in touch with us and continuously, made sure that we know that they still want us. Yeah. And they won. They were the most persistent and the most patient with us, I would say. So we are with them and we love it so far.
I love the story, and I love podcasts like this. Because when I listen to podcasts, I like to hear the behind the scenes shit. I don't care. I'm not saying I don't care, but the regular questions that you get asked every interview, it's like, okay, cool.
Thank you for that. Actually,
I like to hear the behind the scenes stuff and how things are done and how things are created and what's the chemistry. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, of course. And I think that's even more important than all the actual news that people only care about. Not people, because true fans, they do care about the behind the scenes. I don't want to insult anybody, but whenever I have interviews, it feels like the journalists or just even people that do their own thing, they go by some rules and for some and I'm like, I'm so tired of answering the same question. You can literally Google that. Literally. Please.
Let me guess. You're going to ask me if I'm a makeup artist next. Go right ahead.
Yeah, you can ask me what infected rain means, or you can ask me what it means to be a girl in a metal scene. Because I'm tired of that.
It's funny you say Napalm, and if they still are. One of my favorite bands are on Napalm for the last couple of years, Life of Agony. I think they got great bands, and I feel like that is their thing. They are able to see potential in bands. Some of our friends are signed there, and it's really nice. It's nice to see how they support talent instead of wanting to change them, which was I'm not going to lie, it was one of the fears that we had, and I think all the bands have that. All the fans of the bands have that too. They're like, oh shit, they just got signed, shit is gonna be different now. I don't want people to be afraid of that. I don't want that, because I want to still be myself. Yes, it's going to be a different version of myself, because me together with my bandmates, we are trying to evolve. We are trying to be a better version of ourselves as musicians and as people. And obviously every album is going to sound different. We're not going to sound like we sounded in 2011 when Asylum came out. It doesn't matter how much you love Asylum. Thank you for loving Asylum, but you can't say, Infected Rain doesn't sound like Asylum anymore. Of course we don't. Thanks God we don't. We don't want to copy ourselves. Yeah. Very good. Yeah, very true. Oh,
But a lot of don't get me wrong. There are bands out there. I'm not going to do names, but there are bands out there that are super famous and super big, and I love them with all my heart. But with all due respect, they sound. It's like listening to the second part of the same album, which I fucking love. Don't get me wrong. I still love it. It's their style. It's what they do. And they are known for that. And I love it. It's just not our case.
I'll say it. AC/DC.
It's so funny you say that, Art,
AC/DC.
because I listen to a brand new AC/DC. They have a brand new song out now.
Shot in the Dark.
Really?
I'm like, holy shit! This sounds like
sounds like 86
shit. But listen, they're fantastic, though.
Yeah. Yes, there are bands that are known for doing what they do for years. And unfortunately, maybe they are actually afraid to do something new because they are so known for what they do.
Sure.
With Infected Rain, it's different. We experimented since the first album. In fact, first single that came out was Judgmental Trap, which is super heavy. Second single that came out, I'm sorry when I speak fast.
You're excited. It's okay.
At the Bottom of the Bottle, which is completely different style.
Yeah.
It has electronics in it, and it's a completely different style. And then we gave heavier stuff, and then we gave, like Intoxicating. When Intoxicated came out, oh, you have no idea the hate we were getting. And then, of course, because it's an electronic piece, and I rap in that song.
Which is fantastic.
Thank you.
How could you not bring a little rap in there? That's just my opinion.
People just had to that song grew on people later, especially when we started playing it live as well. And people learn by now that Infected Rain is just a diversity of styles.
Yes.
In fact, whenever somebody's asking me, what's the style? What's the genre? Another cool question I love answering. I'm like, I don't know. You are the judge, I guess. The listeners are the judges. I don't know. I don't want to put my band in a box.
What I learned last week was I'm not saying I'm going to put you in a category, but I heard so many different elements. I heard rap, I heard hardcore, I heard a little punk, I heard there's electronics in there that I could ask you so many questions, but I'm not going to kill you with them. But I hear in the vein of, and I could be wrong, people kill me out there, a little bit of that trap music that you throw in in a verse. Yes. You're hitting the trap in the verse, and then you're going into the hardcore in the pre-chorus, and you hit
actually, that's probably my favorite thing to do. Trap music or even chill music mixed with really, really heavy punching riffs.
Yep.
That's probably my favorite. That's why we have songs like The Earth Mantra. It starts so fast. Just remember how The Earth Mantra starts. And even the vocals are super fast and brutal. And then right away in the first minute of the song, there's this huge, we call it the hole. There's this huge atmospheric type of thing. It's different song or a different band started. And then we come back in there, so we love doing stuff like that.
That's awesome.
Now, you mentioned Melissa Cross as being your vocal coach, and one of the best videos I've seen was the Zen of Screaming, and it really actually, that video, my buddy gave me that years and years ago, and it really unlocks something in me, oh, okay, this makes sense, because you do it all. Like you said, rapping, clean singing, screaming. What she taught you, did that help you put it all together better?
Yes. So I want to start with saying that I met Melissa in 2013 when I first visited America, and it was an accident. I knew about her and her classes and her DVDs. I actually had both of them. After we recorded Asylum, somehow also some friends told me about her. I found her on YouTube, and then I ordered her DVDs, so I knew all about it. And just by accident, I tried my luck, and I was lucky enough to have a lesson with her in 2013. Since then, we became very, very close friends. In fact, she is my friend. She's not only my coach, she is my very close friend. She's also my mentor. She's been with me in my ups and downs in life since then, and I can talk to her about everything. I can reach out to her even if I'm on tour and I'm having an issue or something like that. A good example of that would be 2019. Summer of 2019 was a very difficult time in my life. My life was just upside down, changing, and things were happening against my will. And it was very difficult because all that was happening during a tour. And I was basically working. And the job that we have, me and you guys, is the dream job. Is amazing, but it's really hard job. It's, putting yourself out there of that level of emotion. You have to have that control over what's happening. Otherwise, you can lose it and either have panic attacks on the stage or depression or something like that. And when the external factors of your life or personal things in your family affect you, it's even more difficult. So I really had to reach out to her because I was on the edge of having panic attacks almost every day.
Wow.
And that brings you a very weird type of physical sensation that is actually not there, but mentally we feel it. So it's like, we all felt it when it's like you have a rock in your throat and you're so frustrated, you can't swallow it. It's like there, but you don't have a sore throat. You sing perfectly. It's your frustration. It's your anxiety.
Sure.
Right? So I had to talk to her, and only thanks to her and thanks to my bandmates, which even surprisingly for me, although they always loved me and they always showed me love and appreciation when needed. Don't get me wrong, we all fight a lot, but it doesn't matter. When it's needed, they are there for me. And that was another good reason for them to like be there for me. So thanks to her and my boys, I was able to finish that tour. But it was one of the most difficult times in my life, I believe. And you can probably feel that with Endorphin, because I put that down in a bunch of lyrics.
Yeah.
But that being said, I wanted to say that because the key of the perfect chemistry on a stage for a vocalist is the balance. And learning that balance is very difficult. Melissa helped me believe in myself when more than anybody.
Yeah.
I never, I consider myself being a professional musician and an artist only thanks to her. All my life, even since actually not too long ago, you will still hear me say here and there, well, I'm not really a musician, and people will be like, are you kidding? What is wrong with you? Well, the reason being, it's not because, I'm trying to ask for compliments or something like that. It's that because I always felt like I don't have enough knowledge as a musician because I never studied music. I never been in other bands. I don't even have the experience. But obviously after over 10 years of being with the same band, I do have a lot of experience and knowledge, and I can share just my point of view on it, because we are all different, and something that worked well for me or didn't work at all for me might not be the same for you or for other colleagues, vocalists, So what Melissa did for me, in my opinion, is priceless. She made me believe in myself, and she made me find that balance between how to control my feelings so I can sing falsetto or full voice, rap, scream, or growl, or whatever you want to call it, with the same energy, with the same type of like the mechanism of delivering this emotion.
Sure.
And she made me understand that it is okay not to be okay. It is okay to be okay. It is okay. Everything is okay, because we are human beings. And when we are who we are, without trying to hide that behind a mask or a look, the fans will see that. And they will be with you forever, because you are authentic and you are you. And she encouraged me to be me, to continue be me. And I am me, and I am who I am because of her.
Wow. Awesome.
Yes. I love her with all my heart. And I think she did that with many, many vocalists, many vocalists. I'm not the only one. She saved metal, if we want to think about it.
Oh, there's if you look behind the scenes to a lot of front women and front men, she's behind there. Yeah. And I told Rocky the other day that I want to get her on the podcast because I have so many questions for her.
You totally should. And she is down to earth. She is very friendly. And if she has time, or maybe you guys can, make a make it work for whenever she can, because she's done a lot of interviews, and I always suggest to other interviewers to talk to her too, because there's so much that she could share, and she has the experience of I don't know, more than 30 years now in doing this. So that's besides, she started like playing music and learning music when she was 3 years old.
Jeez.
Yeah. So, but she started like working with alternative musicians in alternative music. Yeah. If I remember correctly, a little bit over maybe 30 years or 25 years. I don't want to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of Melissa, I caught a little bit of her interview on a little party time excellent.
Yay!
Bananas.
Yes, thank you.
I wanted to talk to you about that. I mean, it looks like you have some fun guests over here.
Yes,
I've seen. I'm a pretty big fan of Lacuna Coil, so like that's a cool one I'm going to check out. But how did you get into this? Is this almost a quarantine type thing?
Party Time Excellent was definitely something I started during COVID.
Gotcha.
But my YouTube channel was created a year ago. And actually, like now it's going to be 2 years in January. So,
awesome.
So a year before we had to deal with the pandemic.
Yeah.
So I was always told by fans and my friends that I would be good at doing this, at having my YouTube channel and just, like put whatever there, because there's so much I could share, even if it's just related to the band. But I always felt like, maybe I'm not interesting enough, or maybe, I don't know, people are going to be bored because I can only say so much, and then what else am I going to do, But finally, I got very inspired because my guitar player, Vidic, he's really good at editing. And he said, let's do it together. Sooner or later, this will also bring an income and we'll talk about it, but we can do it together and we can develop it into something of yours. So you have something extra that will keep you, busy and occupied when you're not on tour, because we don't all live together. And although the band was doing really good, I still had a job when I was coming back from touring. I literally, I think I stopped working 2 years ago. Basically, when I started doing my YouTube channel, and then I created my Patreon account, and I started doing so much more. I bought thanks to the people that support me on Patreon, I bought equipment so I can have better videos for my YouTube channel and so on and so on.
Got it.
So because I had this help, I was like, okay, I can do it with the help, because I can edit videos. I can't do all that stuff. So having an extra help, even if it's just like moral help, just like it's so important sometimes. It's just that extra drop that it's needed for you to be like, okay, I got this, so that was what encouraged me to do that. And then obviously during the pandemic, I couldn't do too many videos about too many different things because I was locked in my house alone with my dog. So that's when I decided to do this, although this was actually Vidic's idea, my guitar player, but he proposed this idea long ago. He was like, maybe you can do that even like during festivals in the backstage when we play with somebody, and stuff like that. But I do understand that when it's a festival and we all are there to work and then to chill in the backstage, you already have all these interviewers there and you don't really want to do too much. So I never got the courage to like bug people, but during the pandemic, it looked like the perfect opportunity. So yes, I interview interesting people that I admire, or just people that I'm friends with. And it's coming along really cool. My next one actually is going to have a really special person. He's a musician, but he's also our manager. And he's also part of the label. So it's really interesting because I'm putting him a little bit under the spotlight and I'm asking him questions that normally people want to know. And I'm like, you know what? People ask me this, but you should answer.
Awesome.
And it was a fun type of conversation. His name is Thomas and he's really cool actually. And that's going to come out next.
So if 2020, like as you said, was an upside down, you guys were scheduled for 2 tour cycles?
No, 4. 2 in America and 2 in Europe. Big tours. We lost over 130 or 140 shows.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
That's and
that's 129 more than us.
And you talk about it, so you think about it. It's Archie and I talk about it all the time. It's the artist, it's the venue, it's the bartenders at the place, the people that book, the stage hands, like it's everybody is affected by this.
Oh yes. And unfortunately, we still are the people that suffer the most because show business is not back on track yet, and labels, booking agencies, crew members, just venues themselves and bartenders, and just like you said, security and everybody who is involved. In order for a show to happen, we all are definitely underwater right now.
Mm-hmm.
What do you see for your guys' future? So let's say 2021 is a clean slate. Everything gets better. This pandemic goes away. Is it you're going to resume touring? Hopefully.
Yeah. So basically, because of what was going on, still is going on in 2020, we started working on the new album way earlier than planned. Mm-hmm. Because we, our album actually came out. Endorphin came out on October 18th, so almost a year ago.
Got it.
So that's normally, we were planning to have another year of touring and then come out with a new album. But obviously, a lot of bands just lost touring and they just start writing. So that's what we did as well. And in the summer of 2021, we are going to release our new album with a bunch of music videos. We have an interesting concept for it. Unfortunately, I cannot reveal much because we're still working on it. But if everything comes back to normal, we will have hopefully the same amount of shows that we lost in this year because they got rescheduled.
Gotcha.
But again, fingers crossed.
Yeah. So we're not going to keep you much longer. I know you're busy, but listen, we wanted to. I thought about this the other day, and I was like, I need to ask her this. So a 2-parter for you before you go. Let me just remember what album it is. I believe it is Dancing. The last song, Dancing Alone, acoustic.
Yes.
Okay. First of all, you have a beautiful vibrato.
Thank you.
Second of all, I tried to, and I could be wrong. Please forgive me if I am. I tried to Google you singing more acoustic because I love acoustic music.
Yeah.
And I kind of didn't find too much.
There's not much.
I need you to do more acoustic.
Yes, I wanted to actually, and maybe even outside the band, just some covers and stuff like that. I do love it very much because it gives a lot of room for creativity, I do love it very much. We actually, with the band, we even thought that eventually when we have enough time and money to invest, we would do a big show where we will invite a lot of musicians that play instruments that are not typical for Infected Rain. And we would do just a acoustic show that is going to be filmed and eventually become a DVD.
That would be awesome.
Something like inspired by the Unplugged, I would say. But we will also include cover songs, and we would make it like into a big, maybe 2-hour or even longer show. That's the plan. But see, because we are so far from each other, we couldn't make this happen during the COVID situation and the world being stopped. So eventually it will happen. It's still something we want to do. It's still something we think about.
Good.
Yeah, but even like separate from the band, or even with my band, some of the Infected Rain songs might become acoustic sooner or later, and or just fooling around with some musicians, and just doing songs that I grew up with or something like that. I like that. I enjoy that a lot, and I feel a little bit under the spotlight when I do so, because it takes a lot of knowledge to actually navigate through a song and be creative, because you need to know which notes go well with which notes don't go well together. The only thing I have is like the feeling in my gut, and I'm like, this sounds good together or not. You know what I mean? I don't have the theory behind it.
No, neither do we. We understand.
Yeah, but at the same time, you learn when you practice. So definitely. I love that too.
It's weird because I call him Rocky Wrong Note. So no. I think Infected Rain fans would love an acoustic.
Yes.
But speaking of your fans, last question: where would you think, or where do you know your biggest fan base is right now in the world? Like where do you know? Like, yo, as soon as we hit this country up, it's on.
I have two answers for that question. First answer is statistics.
Okay.
According to the statistics of social media and all the other platforms, the biggest following and the biggest reaction we always have whenever we give something new, or even for older stuff, is United States. And we never even played here. So it's going to be amazing.
How awesome is that, though?
That's amazing. Thank you, Internet. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Internet.
Yeah, that's statistics. Now, if you ask me regarding like how I feel about it, it's very difficult for me to answer, because we have diehard fans, and those fans, a good percentage of those people became close friends to us in a long time, and they are all over the place. The majority of them come from Central Europe, but they are still all over the place. We have a few groups on Facebook that are dedicated for those diehard fans, and they are like Infected Rain supporters or Lena Scissorhands friends and family, and they are only they do have managers that filter who is part of it, and they are so respectful, so good, and there's more than 40 countries, people from more than 40 countries there. So I cannot really tell you. I can tell you also another like little statistics when we play headlining shows in places where we did play. So America, we didn't play, so I don't know. But in places that we did play, we always, almost all the time, sell out. Czech Republic, Bulgaria, Germany. We do pretty well in Austria. We do pretty well in Switzerland and Italy. But yeah, this would be, we actually sell out in Russia as well. I mean, in big, like St. Petersburg and Moscow.
Awesome. That's so cool. That is so
that's
cool.
like if we want to talk statistics.
Yeah, of course.
I can't say that there's a country where like we have a huge following from Latin America as well, and all the countries that are included in Latin America, right?
Yep.
It's insane. Like Spanish speaking people just love Infected Rain so much, but I just think because not too many bands arrive to Latin America, that's why they are so hungry for music, and they just go and support. And I heard from other band friends, musicians friends that been there, they're like, those people go crazy. I love that. I can't wait.
Well, Lena, I could speak for Rocky and myself. Thank you so much for taking the time out and chilling with us and just having a good talk. And We'll be on the lookout. We definitely want to see you in person, see the band in person. You know, when you come to New York, we're gonna be there.
Thank you so much.
Absolutely, but thank you very much for coming on and sharing some of your art with us and everything.
Where can everybody find you?
Everywhere. We are literally everywhere. If you find difficulties in finding an artist that you love, just Google it. But it all depends. If you want to follow, it's the classic Facebook, Instagram, and VK, and YouTube. But if you want to support a band or a band member, nowadays especially, I'm on Cameo, I'm on Patreon. Like nowadays, I'm even live streaming almost every day on Vigo, which is similar to Twitch, I guess.
Got it.
So it's like literally everywhere, especially nowadays. We're trying to be very close to our supporters.
Yeah.
And, because we need each other very much. And thank you guys for having me. Thank you for interesting questions. And and definitely get in touch with Melissa and, mention that you had a podcast with me as well.
Oh, absolutely. Yes. To pick her brain would be it's so much fun for us. Definitely.
Absolutely.
The great Lena Scissorhands, everyone.
Thank you so much. Stay
safe, and we'll talk to you soon.
Yes.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
I love podcasts like this. Said this before, and I'll say it again. I love when the artist gives you insight on how they write and how the whole chemistry of the band gets done. I don't want to hear your favorite band. Yeah, it's great and all, but it means ugats to me. But what I also love when you talk to an artist or a band and they're so down to earth, they're so chill. She was so humble. She knows where she came from. She's got a vision. She's got a goal. The band's got a vision and a goal. And I can't wait to catch Infected Rain in the U.S. So check out Infected Rain, infectedrain.com. You can check them out on Instagram on @InfectedRain_official. Check out Lena Scissorhands @Lena Scissorhands on Instagram. And with that being said, Rocco, talk to me, my friend. Tell the people what they want to hear.
If you're worried about the election or this country's direction, but then realize that you actually don't know shit about politics and you just think with your erection, then you're listening to Not These Two Fucking Guys podcast.
We out.